Sink. Kitchen sink. Sink.
Kitchen sink, nice. Right, that's on the podcast now. Welcome to episode 4 of the Black Mind Gaming Pod. What do you? Oh.
What?
Welcome to episode 4 of the Black Mind Gaming Podcast. My name is Jeff.
My name is Awkward. I mean Samuel.
My name is Awkward. I mean Joshua.
Don't copy me.
No, that is awkward.
Wow. Just wow. I don't know. I don't even know. So how have you guys been doing lately?
I've been busy. I was out of town for the last few days, and I've been working on a bunch of crap. So I've been busy. I'm tired. The usual.
Yeah, same here. I'm kind of same here. I've been busy with work and been trying to at least try to do some activities for our group and try to play some video games and stuff. So not a lot of time.
No time at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been actually doing great. I'm actually doing quite well. Yeah, this week on the Black Mind Podcast, we talk about E3, but more on that later. Right now, let's talk to Josh. Josh, you've played a game.
I have. I've been playing Grow Home, which is super freaking neat game, which I like quite a bit. Let's see, where can I start with that? The game is very, very weird. So the concept of the game is that you're a robot that's exploring different planets, and you got shot down to this one weird planet, and you're meant to, walk around, explore, and then eventually get back to your spaceship. But the funny thing is, the way you're doing that is that you have to grow this giant flower plant. So you run around the landscape, and you pick up some crystal, like these weird crystals that have an echoing effect coming from them. So when you get close to it, it gets louder and louder. So you could try to do some echolocation to figure out where these crystals are, and then you pick them up, and they actually give you perks and stuff like that if you get enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stuff like a jetpack and stuff like that. And
Oh yeah,
jetpack.
Later on, you can get a flower. Later on, that you get what else do you get? You also get a leaf, which is super, super, super duper good. I love the leaf.
Yeah. The leaf's the best part of the game. I've actually played the game.
Yeah, the leaf is totally the best part.
Yeah. It's interesting because this game is like just basically climbing, right?
It's climbing, and it's really good exploration game. Like, it's very bare bones, but there's enough exploration and stuff to do that you go, okay, I want to go over here, I want to go over there, and you don't feel bored. Yeah, I found it very entertaining and just very mellow, like super mellow. Like, even when you go, there's one part in the game that you go into a cave and you find a bowl. It actually charges at you because the bowl hates red and you're red. So it charges at you and it tries to knock you down and try to make you explode. But if you're clever enough, you could just jump around and avoid it, and collect all the gems and just jump out. But even for that one high point, you still feel pretty mellow and you're like, I'm gonna dodge this. Yeah, like it was pretty entertaining, and when you find that bowl in the cave, you're like, oh, there's a bowl in this cave.
Oh, I made the bowl just fall off the cliff.
I actually made the bowl fall down that pit that was in the cave, which was interesting, and I got an achievement for it.
Yeah, I also got an achievement for it. Some of the achievements for the game is actually quite interesting. Like, I got an achievement on my account called Shaken Not Stirred.
Oh yeah, I've read that. I thought that was kind of hard to pull off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those interesting games. Sam, have you played the game?
No. No. I have been playing. My life has been absorbed by The Witcher 3. There are no other games exist right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The game is so freaking huge. It's just I got about halfway through the area after the starter area. I forget what it's called, and you reach about level 15 or so. And then you go to this island that's like half the size of the previous area that you can all explore, and it's just like, and there's infinite levels. It's just I have shit tons of quests for like level 30 stuff that I can't touch yet. It's just that the game is so unbelievably big. It hurts your brain.
It just hurts your brain. It just makes your brain go boom.
Yeah, like it makes Skyrim feel small. Like I'm sure Skyrim is bigger, but in some ways it makes Skyrim kind of feel small because you know there's areas you can't go into yet in The Witcher 3 because every area is level based.
Okay. Yeah. I actually own Witcher, but I can't talk about it because I don't have it installed. Gone Home, on the other hand,
Yeah, that's.
I just say
It's a short game. You can play it like for 4 hours maybe, and you can do everything.
yeah. Although The Witcher, yeah, it's very short. I actually quite like it a lot. The Witcher. All I'm going to say about it is the combat better, Sam?
Oh God. Yes, it is overall better because in The Witcher 1 and 2, it was super awkward. It's still really awkward in a lot of ways. The controls still feel there's no other word that I can think of, janky. Like it's just this feeling of wrongness. The best third-person game I've played would have to be Assassin's Creed, like the Assassin's Creed 4. Would have to have the best third-person controls. This is way worse. But the story makes up for it. The content that you deal with, like the monsters you fight, the people you engage with, feel real. That makes up for any lack of controls, or bad controls in this case.
Okay. And yeah, did you buy it on disc or did you buy it on like
GOG.
online?
GOG.
GOG. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're the one who develop it. I only feel it's fair that they get all the money.
Yeah, it kind of feels like cheating, if anything, if you buy on another platform other than GOG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the people who own GOG also own Red. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm actually looking right now at some stuff on that Witcher game. I'm also looking at stuff from Mass Effect 3, preferably the ending.
all you're going to do is piss people off by talking about that, because half the people think it was okay, and the other half hate it with a burning passion.
How did they think that ending was okay? Like, wait, the original ending or the new ending?
The original and the new ending
are both terrible.
They're decent.
The original ending, it's terrible, but the new endings were at least decent. Like, I felt like they at least tried to explain some few things.
I think that we need John on this to talk about it, but John Winsky, our teacher from Nate. We should, but my opinion on it is I never finished Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, I got to a point where I could have finished it, but I start realizing how, to talk about the endings are terrible, so I never finished it.
Yeah, I got to that point, and I was actually at the end of the game. It was stunning how close I was, and I sat down recently, and I just kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna finish this game because Mass Effect 4 is coming out, and I gotta finish the game.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, that ending is anticlimactic, interesting in a way, and I do kind of see what they were going for, but man, it you know what? As a fan of that series, it was actually a good ending, and you know what? I can appreciate it. Everyone, I get where everyone's criticism comes from and stuff like that, and I don't think that Mass Effect 3 was a spectacularly good game. I mean, god damn it, they killed like most of my favorite characters.
Yeah, that's what I hated about 3 is that it felt like they're not killed in a, I have to, or they're killed in a way where I felt like they're written out, not necessarily that the character would do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Like, when Tali died for me, I was just like, wow.
Tali died for you?
Yeah, Tali died.
She never died for me.
No,
Legion died for me.
No, it didn't die for me. Nobody died in mine.
Yeah, and mine. Wait, which one are we talking about? Mass Effect 2 or
Mass Effect 3?
3? Okay. Yeah, I made sure that a lot of my crewmates didn't die from 2, God, how far did I get in 3? I know I know for sure not a lot of people died in my thing, other than like the people are meant to die.
Yeah, nobody in mine died who was not meant to die in my only playthrough of Mass Effect 3. And spoiler alert, at the ending when you walk up and there's these 3 options you have and 1 or 2 may be blocked out and you pick which ending you get and that's the ending.
Yeah.
That was just like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I got the ending where yeah, I understand what they're doing and I kind of appreciate it. I initially got when you go up to the Space Kid.
Yeah.
We're gonna call him Space Kid. I initially just shot at the Space Kid. Did you guys ever do that?
No, I never bothered. I figured out what this was pretty quick.
Yeah, I never really got that far. Oh, yeah.
I shot at the Space Kid because I was initially like walking around and I was just like I don't know which one to pick. I'll go with Anderson, and then eventually I was just like I just got so fed up. I was just like, fuck you, Space Kid. Shot him and he was just like, screw this, cycle continues. Good day.
Huh, interesting. That's cool. I did not know that.
And my original ending was the cycle continues. Shepard dies on the Citadel, and he sits there and they find the pod that Liara made. And the ending ends with the Space Kid, talking to an alien race, and they're like, the Space Kid's like, so tell me a story about Shepard, and she's like, well, that's all that the pod has on him.
Huh, I didn't get that ending at all. That must have been the new ending, because my ending was literally, I select an ending and get a cutscene, and the end of game. I was like, ah.
Yeah, the end of game 1 is just shades of color, or that was the first endings anyways.
Yeah, I don't know about the new endings.
I looked up the new endings, and they are better. I think the one ending I did like was it synthesis or something, where the robots and humans, and the robots and the organics live together happily, which I like a lot better, if anything. But yeah.
But then when I actually went back and I actually redid the ending, and the ending I got was the one where all the robots died.
So
everything got destroyed. But I actually kind of think that Mass Effect 3's ending,
the new ending,
the new endings, they're the perfect cap off to a trilogy. I think, and like it doesn't matter if people don't like them or not. It's something that it's going to be a game that 5 years down the line people are not going to remember it, and they're going to be sitting there yelling at Mass Effect 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do understand where people come from. Like, well, the ending was unsatisfactory, and it's like, yeah, I get that, and I understand that a lot more now. I really think that we should have John on here
for this. Well, no, I don't think he could actually talk about it because he worked on the game. He could be he probably doesn't want to piss off BioWare by giving his opinions, whether they're positive or negative. I don't think he would want to talk about it.
I think it would be more interesting to have one of us playing through the game,
maybe,
and with him sitting next to us and like explaining, like giving like saying some stuff,
yeah,
or like explaining stuff.
To be clear, John Winsky was a level designer for BioWare for 16 years. He now teaches at NAIT and is considered to be the best programming teacher at NAIT.
Yep,
he is one of the best teachers at NAIT, regardless.
Yeah, but he of all the programming teachers, he's also
he's on there with like a lot of the game design teachers are actually fantastic teachers. We'll say that. Yeah. Moving on from Mass Effect 3's ending, I want to talk about the E3 press conferences. The major 3, though, so we're not going to get into the PC gaming one because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I did watch a PC conference one, but it was kind of off and on. Like, I didn't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, that one seems kind of weird to me.
It was a...
Well, actually, it makes sense that why they would do it, but it's like...
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Just a bit.
I don't like E3 for generally speaking. Like, this one was the exception to the rule. The problem is in previous years, half the games only gave you pre-rendered cutscenes that told you nothing useful about the game. Like, what are the control schemes? Is it first person? Is it a strategy game? Like, you don't know. All you know is that it's a game. It exists.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But let's start off from the top. We have the Bethesda presser. That's the only publisher one I watched.
Oh, and it was amazing.
They had Doom, which looks fantastic and got hate from Arnenia Sarkeesian and some dude.
And nobody cares. Like, just the best way
Nobody cares.
Yeah, the best way to deal with people like that is to starve them of attention, and then they'll go away.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is I think that they missed the point. Is like, Doom is supposed to be hyper violent.
Yeah, that's the whole point of Doom. Doom is the violent game.
Yeah.
Doom is the game that gets blamed for causing mass shootings.
Oh, did you hear about the whole? Do you remember the whole hatred debacle? And then when it comes out, it's this bland third-person shooter.
And it has executions, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just like it's not to beat on the guys who made Hatred, but it's like there's no issue here.
Yeah.
It's a Postal. That game was made.
It's not even. Postal was worse by far. This game was just like these people are. They are just bites on a screen. Like, they're meaningless.
Yeah, well, the thing was, the concept behind was a hatred. It was that it's trying to be more of a hateful towards society type of thing, but Postal was more of, like, poking jokes at, like, obvious bullshit things, which is, there's two kind of different sides to extreme violence. Which is one's kind of trying to poke fun at these certain things with extreme violence and weird, gaudy things, and another one's just doing it with extreme violence and like more gritty and hatred type of things. Like someone drew on a Trapper Keeper in the 14th, or no, in their Guerrilla weapons.
Trapper Keeper.
You know what I mean? You drew like a bunch of swords and shit, and you're like, I hate people.
anyways. Well, I still hate people. Anyways, going back to Bethesda. They had Doom, they had Fallout 4. We'll talk about that later. But they also had some news in between. They had stuff like Elder Scrolls Legends, which looks like it's going to get crushed. They also had Dishonored 2, which... Sam, have you played Dishonored?
No, I have not played Dishonored. I devoured Dishonored. I played that game nonstop for about 2 months.
Okay.
And I played it on max difficulty with 0 kills, or sorry, with zero people dying, 0 times spotted, and the game glitched and didn't give me my achievement, and then I never played it again.
Okay. We're gonna. Josh, did you play Dishonored?
No, I'm afraid I did not. Although,
Shame on
if
you.
it counts, I have it on my Steam account.
You have it on your Steam account. You haven't played it. You do realize how messed up that is, right?
I always kept looking at it, going, I should play it. Then I'm like, oh wait, I got Cave Story I haven't played yet. Click. Then I'm like, oh wait, I got like 10,000 spikes to play. Click.
So I'm just gonna start off by saying that the fact that Emily's a playable character is interesting.
To me, Emily should be the only playable character because Corvo by this point is over 50 years old.
I'm thinking that they're probably going to use some. I think they're going to use the Overseer or the magical god thingy, Majiggy, as the MacGuffin device to make Corvo playable.
I'd just rather him not be playable at all.
Well, it could work. I'm just saying it's probably the fact that they're doing another one. This one looks so interesting and such a good hit. It's probably going to get pre-ordered right away.
So, are you telling me that if this game were to go to Japan, like there'd be dragons and shit everywhere?
Probably.
Woo!
Yeah.
I will play that one.
They're going to probably be steam-powered dragons, but dragons nonetheless. The next game we're going to talk about is Fallout 4, or the way I like to call it is Fallcraft.
Fallcraft. You do realize that everything you saw that was amazing was something that was made into a mod initially for Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas?
I really don't care. I didn't like Fallout 3.
Well, you can go be a loser in your corner.
I thought that the Bethesda game was bad.
Yeah, initially when it got released, I will admit it wasn't the best game ever released, but with all the patches and stuff, it did get fixed up quite a bit, and with the modding.
Yeah, well, yes. It's like my problems with with Skyrim. My problem with Skyrim was it didn't run on my 5970 too well, so I never played it.
Yeah, you know whose problem that is, right?
It was totally their fault for not optimizing for the people who spent money on a card.
True.
Yes. But enough about... I think Fallout 3 looks interesting. I think it's interesting that now they have a playable character. I'm hoping that drags me through the game a lot more.
Playable character? What do you mean? They always had a playable character.
Oh no, not playable character. Character who's voiced.
Oh,
and
okay.
I hope that drags me through the game a lot more. I think that the counters and stuff like that. That's the one thing that Mass Effect always did well. Is Mass Effect always had good counters and stuff like that, and good pacing. And it looks like they're doing that with this one, so that interests me.
As a fan of the Fallout series and as a fan of Bethesda, I can tell you this right now. Watching the Fallout 4 trailer was amazing, and anybody who is a fan of this should definitely watch it because the amount of customization for weapons and armor is amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was playing through. I guess it was Fallout 3. I always kept wondering, why can't I just tweak one part of the gun or something like that, like a different muzzle or whatever, but now you finally can. Oh my god!
Yeah, it's amazing.
So moving on from things that Sam's going to like to things that Sam's going to cry. Xbox One announced backwards compatibility, ton of games, and modding through Fallout's portal thingy.
To be clear, I hate nothing of what he just said. I just find that the consoles in general.
Oh, we're gonna get there. Don't worry.
Okay.
Backwards compatibility. I find it interesting that it's the way that they announced it. They're doing pretty much the exact same thing that they did with the 360. That makes me feel a lot better about everything that's going on. That's actually a really huge selling point as somebody who.
Sink. Kitchen sink.
Okay.
Kitchen sink. Yeah, we lost Jeff there for a second. Then we got him back.
I accidentally summoned a demon by mistake.
Okay, we've been clear. When you are summoning things from the 40K universe, at least, you summon Corn because then if you fuck up, he kills you.
Well, it was actually just to be fair, it was a world breath. It was not my fault. I did not know that putting goat blood on a sacred sword was a bad idea.
It isn't a bad idea?
Well, it is a bad idea when you kill a werewolf with it. So.
Oh.
Right. So Jeff, backwards compatibility.
I think it's great. It's actually quite interesting that they're doing the exact same thing that they do with the Xbox 360. And it's actually very, very cool that they're doing that. It's, as somebody who works in retail, it's actually some of the best things that they could have done to help improve their brand.
Well, they should have had that from the very beginning. They should have dropped the Kinect, which was oddly missing from the E3 stuff, and they should have included backwards compatibility from the very beginning, and then they would have been far more competitive with PS3.
Do you think Matrick really gave a shit? Do you really think Matrick gave a shit? I think you're giving the man too much credit. He's the reason why we're in this mess, Sam.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I'm all for consoles doing good. As much as I don't like consoles, I understand their place. It's just when you see people make just clearly dumb choices in dealing with their own consoles, it's just like, stop it.
I think it's the reason why they make clear dumb decisions. It's just that they're so big and so giant that they can't really realize their own dumb decisions.
Yeah, and I especially think that's interesting that Spencer, it's been about roughly 2 years since Spencer's gone on there, and the Xbox One is actually a better console now. It looks better. It has more games. And it has some games that I'm actually really interested in buying, like the Halo 5 Guardians game. I'm actually looking at the collector's edition right now because I think that I need another plastic thing from Halo to go on my shelf of useless
Oh
items.
yeah, I think I've seen that. It's that 2 figures, right?
Yep, it's 2 figures, and then you get a metal
Minifigure.
Earth Guardian, which looks beautiful, and yeah,
Isn't it like $250 or some garbage?
yes. Don't
God.
remind me. I will probably buy it, Josh, and then feel bad.
My guts are hurting.
Or Jeff, you could spend that $250 on a useful program like, Quixel, which sadly actually you already own, or Substance Designer, or Substance Live.
Or get a Wii U.
Or
Like, seriously, Wii U is a good idea. Not from the presser they had, but I mean, it's still a decent console. I mean, come on.
hey, Nintendo had a dank presser. No, I like Halo, and I'll probably end up spending $250 because I'm an idiot. And shut up.
Your
Well,
words.
hey,
Your
hey,
words.
I'm an idiot for Pokemon, so we're probably in the same boat.
Oh.
Oh, that's painful, Josh. That's really
Hey,
painful.
Pokemon's a good
You
game.
don't know how many shinies I have, brah.
And we just lost everyone listening. Just like,
No.
we're
We
done.
just gained
We're out.
like 50 listeners.
Yeah, 14-year-old listeners.
You'd be surprised of how like there's our age range probably still playing Pokemon right now.
Hey, is that a
Do you know
bad
what I know
thing?
Pokemon?
Is that a bad thing that we just got listeners who are like 14?
Yes. Okay. Do you know what I know about Pokemon? There's 151 if you include Mew.
Oh yeah. I know that's where a lot of people kind of stop.
Hey. Blaziken is the most legit Pokemon ever.
I don't even know.
You don't know what-
That's the new starter. That's a new starter from the Pearl series, I think.
No,
Yeah.
it was Sapphire.
It's not part of the 151.
Hey,
Hey,
honorary
hey.
151. It's 152 because Blaziken always is in there. Actually, no.
It sounds like a ripoff of Charmander.
It's not. It's
not
better
really.
than Charmander. It's
It's a chicken that knows how to do karate kicks. Okay.
it's a chicken that's
So
on
it's-
fire and kicks people.
It looks really cool. You should look it up. Look up the Pokemon actually.
It's
I'm not
better
looking
than
it
Look it up.
You just make I'm just gonna go. If you guys hear a loud bang, that's me blowing my brains out.
No, don't do it. No, don't. Okay, well, stop it. We'll stop right now. Stop.
No, Josh. We have to let him do this.
Let him do it.
This next week on the Black Mind
Cuphead's
podcast,
a great game.
we introduce our new co-host, Shane.
And
So let's talk
Riley.
about Cuphead. Cuphead's great. It's all hand animated. It's from Xbox. It's orgasmic.
It
It's
looks
great.
beautiful.
It looks like they took the classic 70s, 80s animations from Disney and made it out of that. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. That's basic. What was it, like the 40s or 20s hand animation stuff?
Oh, it's that old.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's trying to emanate that old stuff, but with color, and it's all hand animated. Like everything is hand animated,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is
That's expensive.
yes.
it's super expensive.
It looks
super
so
expensive.
good.
It looks so great.
Yeah.
Actually, they had to cut a lot of not a lot of the game, but they had to cut back the like adventuring aspects of it. Like at first, I think they thought, oh, we can have an adventure game with the old art style, but they're like, no, we can't quite do that because it's going to be too expensive trying to make this overarching adventure game. So they're like, well, what if we just tweak it so that's more of like a boss killing game? You have to go to boss to boss to boss constantly. So it's kind of like a constant what's it called? A kind of a character action 2D side scrolling shmup a little bit. Sort of like that. When you look at gameplay video, it does look like that. It's like you jump around and you're 2D side scrolling, but it seems like all you're doing is killing bosses. So it helps to cut on the cost of like, okay, it's not an adventure game per se, but you're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
that
the
game-
down low on.
That game looks sick, and I actually was very impressed by it. I'm actually quite. I hope that game does well.
I hope it does so well that it maybe doesn't stay on Xbox One for too long. Like maybe it hits Steam once in a while.
It's probably going to hit
Maybe.
Steam.
I hope it hits Steam.
Microsoft's recent trend kind of lends itself to more Steam games coming out. Now, onto a topic that is going to make Sam shoot his brains out.
Damn it.
Microsoft announced... I'm just going to hit enter on the chat. Microsoft announced an Xbox One controller that costs $150. And I also might buy one of these as well.
It's Wait, it's $150? I thought it was cheaper.
It's $150.
No.
Jesus, why?
It's $150 American, to be clear. We live in Canada. They're going to have a 25% markup because they can.
I get 20% off, so...
So I'm never ever going to buy it ever.
You're probably
Yeah, right.
It's actually a really cool concept. The thing that makes me really excited is like I like games like Halo a lot, and I like shooters. So anything that gives like me a little bit of an edge, I'll take.
But okay, do you know how to get an edge on shooters?
See,
play PC.
But they don't have a good Halo clone.
That is true. They have Halo 1. They have Halo 1 on PC.
That's like the worst Halo.
That's the best Halo.
2 is the best.
No, 1's the best.
2 is like what they realized their idea, man.
I liked the first one. I played the second one at a cousin's place, and then I played the third one with a bunch of friends online. Then I stopped gaining interest in the other.
That's a lot of people actually. Like, you're not alone there. It's a lot of people just kind of like, man.
Yeah, well, it got to the point where I was playing. What was it? What was the spin-off one after 3?
Reach.
Yeah, is it Halo Reach?
Yeah, Reach.
Or is it what was the one with like the
ODST.
had the soldiers? Yeah, ODST. I was playing that one, and the more I played it, the more I got pissed off of like I had to pay another $60 to play the
Not good
game, and it's really super short. And I'm like, well, it's not. I mean, it's super short. It was $60, and I only like. At the time, it was like me and maybe another person was playing it, and I'm like,
My pony magic does nothing!
this. I'm never going back.
Okay.
Don't breathe into the
I
mic.
think I just had a heart attack.
It was just not enough content.
It was so good.
So we could definitely see the difference between fanboys and non-fanboys in this
Yeah.
case.
I will admit I'm a Halo
Like,
fanboy, but
I do. Yeah,
I at least can recognize when the game was bad. I think ODST was actually pretty good. It was
it did-
Bungie doing something different.
Yeah, well, how about this? I can agree that they were doing something different, and it was, kind of neat in a different way, but at the same time, it was just too expensive for what it was. Too expensive.
Oh yeah, I agree. It was
Like,
too
it was
expensive.
it just felt like a ripoff to me more and more I was playing it, and I was like, I just at the point of, like, I just don't care anymore. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I like the character designs, I like the few other things about it, but I don't care.
So back to the controller. The controller actually has hair trigger, has really good hair triggers, bumpers, customizable everything. That to me seems like a really good selling point, because I liked when they Mad Catz released the Rat. I actually jumped onto that bandwagon. I love the Rat, and I think that this controller looks great and fantastic, and I really hope that hopefully the price will come down eventually. That being said, moving on to another thing. Halo 5 Guardians. Sam, you didn't watch the presser?
What game?
Halo 5 Guardians. Did you watch the presser?
I didn't even know there was a new Halo game.
It looks good. So we'll end it there. Recore.
Yeah.
Recore looks interesting. It's a game that looks like you can. You have robots. You can install cores into other robots.
Recore?
Yes, I saw that. That was interesting. Although they did kind of a cheap move with pulling your heartstrings by killing the dog type thing, even though it wasn't actually killing the dog.
It was interesting. There was another.
I need to look that up. What's it called?
Recore.
Recore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's cores that you can put into new machines.
Ew.
The game where you play as a blind girl looked very interesting, and and I actually hope that that game actually comes out on PC because that looks.
There's a few games like that actually where you're playing as a blind person.
Yeah, the concept of like, oh, you can't see, but we need some other way to see is a great concept because, like, you know, you need to use your imagination to figure out, okay, well, how do you pull this off?
All right,
Yeah.
let's move off of the E3 press
Well, we have
conference.
one more, and then we have one more after that.
Okay.
So we'll go on to the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
All right. So PlayStation 4.
Where the
So,
are the
Hadouken!
games?
Hey.
How can you do this? Like, everything that they announced is 2016. At least.
yeah.
What I love is the fact that virtually everything they announced had some sort of PS3
PS4 exclusive.
exclusivity.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's like-
play that game on PC. Thank you very much.
I just liked how it was. This conference was exactly like a fanboy's dream, like exactly like a fanboy's dream,
And
like,
it wasn't even that good.
to the very T. It was like,
It
holy
wasn't-
crap!
It wasn't that good. Final Fantasy VII isn't gonna be that good. Here's the reason why.
Hey, sacrilege!
No,
Sacrilege!
Here's the reason why. They're not gonna do a total revamp of the entire game. They're probably just gonna repaint the models and redo all the textures. That's okay, but they're not gonna do voice work, which is what probably everyone wants, because that's expensive.
I don't know. Would people care? Would people care?
People probably wouldn't give
I
a
wouldn't
shit.
care. No, the biggest issue I have with trying to play games like Final Fantasy VII now is the controls are incredibly
Yeah, and
awkward.
it's probably not. They're probably not going to do anything to the game.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. From what I hear, and I can't reference this, but I've heard other people talk about this where they say they are doing a remake, not a remaster.
Okay, so if they're doing a remake, then it's probably going to be different, which is not Final Fantasy
Yes.
VII.
So it's a Final Fantasy VII remake,
So people are
which
probably
for a
going
lot
to
of
be
people
pissed.
is good enough. No, I disagree. I think people are going to be happy enough because you can still play Final Fantasy VII now if you want, as long as they keep the key goal with Final Fantasy VII, which was open. It was the first real open world game in that sense where you could go anywhere, do anything, and there's all these secrets. Where every other game before wasn't that kind of open world. It has interesting combat, interesting magic, interesting story. As long as they keep the cores, I think a lot of people will be happy with it.
I honestly don't think that that's going to be the case, and I'm gonna say that because I just don't think that's going to be the case. Next thing, I'm still really mad about Horizon. Like every game that Sony announced for this thing, every single game is practically 2016, and it makes me so mad because it's like they're essentially going, "Oh, we have all this money to spend on third-party content. Why don't you spend it on the games that make me want to play your console instead of a Destiny add-on that makes me kind of go meh?" And I bought the PS4 for Destiny. God, I was an idiot.
Oh yeah, and to be clear, I remember when he first started playing it, he was like, "Oh, it's an amazing game" for like the first week of playing it, and then you started hearing less and less about it. And Jeff, what's your opinion now on Destiny?
It's a game that you have to play with friends.
That's every MMO basically.
It is so frustrating how tight the shooting is, but the lack of story, and how everyone in like the game design class would sit there and was just like fawning over, and I was just like, "Oh, I have the PS4."
Well,
I saw a post on
if
Reddit
anything,
that
I was the only person in that classroom going, "There's no content to the game. I don't."
I was
Yeah.
there with you, dude. I was
Yeah.
there with you.
Sam and you were saying. Nintendo last comment on E3. Nintendo's presser. I want to
You will-
buy a Wii U.
Yeah. We will try to ship more amiibos to you. We will try very hard, very try.
Nintendo's presser is actually I think that yes, I'm going to buy the Halo 5 Legend Collector's Edition because I'm an idiot. But if anything, I think that Nintendo is one of those companies that, you know, I love my 3DS. I think it's the best console I own, and I think that like it's interesting to see them support it. The Wii U is probably one of the best consoles out on the market, and contrary to a lot of people's popular belief, Nintendo has been dying a slow death for about 10, 20 years. When did the N64 came out?
I don't think they're dying per se. I mean,
they're
when did the N64 come out? Yeah, well, no, I should agree that Nintendo has lost a lot of the limelight. The N64,
but what they're doing is they're paying. What they're doing is they're the only people who actually like really are making interesting games. And
1996. But remember this: other than that Squid Game, what's it called? Yeah, Splatoon. When was the last time they had an original IP?
Yeah, never.
Never. No, Pikmin, GameCube.
Yeah, like. Okay, you're right. Pikmin. Yeah, Pikmin was their last original IP.
And there's probably one on...
What does that say about them?
There's probably one on Wii.
It obviously wasn't popular.
It was probably one...
There has to be at least one, but I can't remember anything.
I think there's one. Here's the thing. Nintendo doesn't really need to make new IPs.
No, that's true. A lot of people who like Nintendo games like the classic IPs, but at the same time, a lot of people, like me especially, I can tell you this, I got tired of those IPs years ago. So seeing anything new from Nintendo was a breath of fresh air.
I do think, I actually really liked the way that they did the press conference. They did it all in this Muppet style. And,
oh, yeah, that was pretty,
that was
pretty funny.
But like I'm looking at the games and I'm just like, man, I should kind of buy this. Speaking of Nintendo, Josh, Sam, I want you to click the image that's underneath my word and just look at the differences between the amiibo that's on there.
Underneath word, you mean on the...
Yeah, on the dock.
Okay. Let's see if... Oh yeah, you have to highlight and then copy paste.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what I'm looking at. The original and the reprint, they look the exact same.
So look at the breasts.
Oh, the breasts of the reprint are more pronounced.
They're bigger.
They're bigger.
I was wondering, I was like, what is this picture doing here? I looked at it, I was like, I don't understand what I'm looking at.
As soon as I looked at it, I was like, oh, they're making a reprint, so it's great. And I'm like, there's bigger boobs.
I didn't notice that at all.
My question is, why the hell did they do that?
My question is, why not?
If anything,
I can tell you why.
It probably, if anything, it makes her look a little more proportional, like just a bit.
Yeah,
a bit. Yes.
No, I kind of like her. I kind of like the old breast better.
They fine. The old one looks
I actually prefer the old one. It looks like in the reprint, it honestly looks like she's padded her bra.
A little bit.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Although to be fair, we're talking about a freaking amiibo toy that has a little bit bigger boobs.
Yeah.
Like, please let's focus on a real issue that we're something else.
No, the boobs matter.
if you want to focus on a real issue, I'm glad we're not talking about the MGS figures.
MGS figures.
Oh God.
There's a figure. We'll talk about this later.
Okay.
Off.
All right.
Off. Yeah,
Mike.
Off mic.
Right. So moving on to some real life issues that you may be dealing with if you're a game designer. Coding versus doing something like blueprints in UE4. Here's the thing with doing blueprints. They're easy to do. There's lots of tutorials on them. But you shouldn't use them.
Yeah, I actually poked around in UE4, and yeah, I was like, ooh, the programming language seems like it's super easy to do the blueprint stuff. Yeah, and I was like, oh, it seems like I don't have to know programming in order to make a door open or some junk like that.
Yeah, you don't. Like, as level designers, that's great because that means you don't have to learn programming. But it's a bad thing. There's one key reason why blueprints are bad.
Because you don't...
They're not portable.
Oh.
you could be great in UE4. What happens if you have to use Unity or CryEngine? Guess what? You're SOL because you don't know how to code.
I was gonna say, it's like, well, you don't learn anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like you learn for UE4. So a message to everybody out there: don't use blueprints for everything. Keep it to the simple stuff.
Yeah. Or if there is some sort of, I was gonna say mod, but maybe like a plugin or something that, as you're making the blueprint, it shows the code. Maybe you could kind of read it.
That'd be cool. I don't know if that exists. I should look that up for next time because that'd be really nice.
If that exists, that should be a thing. That should be a thing.
Definitely. That's a good point.
I think that the thing with coding and versus blueprint and stuff like that is, it should follow the KISS rule.
Yes, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, keep it simple. You know, like here's the thing. If you're a game designer, keep it simple. The reason? Because if you have 50 systems, God, I have to do a lot of editing in this episode, and I'm all doing it on myself. If you have 50 systems, those systems interacting are very interactive, very interesting ways. But if you have, like, let's say, a system that just does the job of 50 systems, it can break in spectacular ways. And those ways will be fun up until the moment where you release it and you just get panned.
Yeah, but like I said, if you want to gain long-term experience, learn how to code and use coding for UE4 and for CryEngine and for Unity. Minimize the use of the inbuilt systems they have to make your life easier because it's going to hurt you in the long run. The next thing I'd like to cover is PBR versus classic texturing.
Photo-based rendering?
Yep, photo-based rendering.
Dang it. No. I refuse.
What's wrong with photo-based?
Honestly, I kind of don't know what photo-based rendering is.
Exactly, that's the thing. This is a brand new topic. It came out about 6 months ago, as far as I'm aware, where it started becoming popular. And Marmoset was the people who really brought it in to the forefront. I'm sure it was used before in like Maya and for for TV and movies, but for games, it hasn't existed. And what they did is they changed the calculations for games to make the specular and the reflectivity very different. And in the end, it just caused everything looks so much better. It's a completely new system. I do not fully understand it, to be perfectly honest, because it's insanely complicated, or not insanely complicated. It's just very, very different. If you're a regular texture artist, I'd highly recommend learning the system because what you see on the screen, it doesn't look 100% realistic, but it looks 10 times more realistic than the classic materials and textures. Because now it almost never uses metal. It doesn't use metalness really. It uses a lot more reflectivity for Nazzle. For people who knows what that is, or sorry, Fresnel. For people who knows that is, that's just a special kind of reflectiveness, essentially, like a metal type reflectiveness. Ambient occlusion, cavity maps now are a thing.
It just looks like that the reflectivity is more of it looks like it's based off more of the room than it is based off of, like, we're just going to put a can for reflective thing on it.
Yeah, if you were to be really good at this,
it does look more organic.
Yeah, more realistic in general. Yeah, and the last thing, if I can find it, creating your own game, where to start. I've been doing a lot of research actually on how to start making a game.
Start drawing. You do a one page. The list goes on and on.
Actually, the most effective way as a game designer to start making a game is not to write it down. It's not to start drawing it out. It's to download the program and learn the program and start making a game. And once you understand what a game makes up of, then you plan it out. But for your first few games even, don't write anything down that you don't have to. Just start making it. Because that first step of actually starting something is the hardest step. So don't put barriers in front of yourself. Just do it. And that's how you can make a game.
Yeah, I kind of agree that just do it. It does work. I mean, seriously, just do it.
Well,
Just do it. Just for your love of God, just do it. I don't know what you're doing. Just do it.
Josh, calm down. Calm down.
No. You're sitting around doing nothing. Just do it. Just do it.
You're listening
Yeah.
to this podcast right now. You should. What Josh is trying to say is, I believe he's trying to say, you should be making a video game right now.
Do it.
You can make a video game and listen to a podcast
Well,
at
I
the
do
same
it
time.
all the time.
Well, exactly, yeah. Like when I'm level designing, I always have something on because level designing I can do in my sleep. For the most part, because for that type of stuff, I plan it all out.
When I was a part of a Mumble server, I would just like sit there and just write stuff on my little design document. That's all I would do. Stuff like that.
Anyways, that concludes this podcast, episode 4 of Black Minds Games.
Okay.
Yep. Remember, just do it.
Yeah.
So,
I think you're enjoying it too
so
much.
should I do a musical outro again?
No.
No.
Okay, let's do Jet Set
No.
Radio.
And call is
Damn it!